matchup. Gets a screen, tries to take it herself, kicks it back outside to Wayner. The inside-out game so essential in college basketball. Bowen from half court, good if it goes. Outstanding performance by the Blue Devils, and they withstand a surge in the first half to take an 8-point lead. Doris, what we expected from Duke.
Yeah, I think so. Their game plan against the matchup zone, what they have done really effectively is screen the zone. That's led to shots.
Let's check in with Holly.
You were very upset on that last shot. Perimeter shooters you think are too open. How do you address that with your team?
Well, obviously we might have to do a much better job. That's all I can say. That's pretty poor defense all the way around. We have not had a great defensive half, and you have to credit Duke for that. But also, my goodness, we can play a whole heck of a lot better. We're sure going to try the second half.
You had the early turnovers, 9 turnovers in that first half, but you're not down by that much. How do you get them back focusing on keeping care of the ball?
We got to gut it out. We got to dig deep and play some defense. You can't go anywhere without defense and rebounding. We have to improve in both.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
And Duke has been exceptional, Holly, from the long range. They have taken 10 3-point shots. They've hit 6. We're at halftime. It's 45-37. Let's send it to Trey Wingo with our halftime report.
All right, Mike, thanks very much, and welcome into the halftime show. Trey Wingo here with Carol Lawson, Stacey Dale Schumann. We will get to basketball, and there is a lot of it in a minute. But first, tragic news earlier today from Homestead, Florida. Paul Dana, a 30-year-old rookie on the Indy Racing League circuit, died this morning in his first warm-up session before his first ever race on the Indy Racing League circuit. It happened about 10:03 a.m. Ed Carpenter's car spun out and hit the wall and then slid down the track at the Homestead course. As he was sliding down the track, several cars managed to avoid him, but Paul Dana's did not, hitting him at 176 miles an hour. Roughly 2 hours after the crash, they made the tragic announcement that Paul Dana was dead.
Final pre-race practice, we had an accident in turn 2 involving the number 20 car driven by Ed Carpenter and the number 17 car driven by Paul Dana. That occurred approximately 10:03 this morning, shortly after the beginning of the practice. Both drivers were removed from their cars and flown to Jackson Memorial Hospital, where shortly before noon, Paul Dana was pronounced dead from the injuries he suffered in the accident. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers are with the Paul Dana family and everyone associated with the Ray Hall Letterman race team.
Well, obviously this is a very black day for us. And on behalf of all of our team, David, our sponsors and associates, our prayers and sympathies certainly go out to Paul, his wife Tanya, and the whole Dana family. This is a great tragedy. As a result, and in honor of him, we will not be competing with cars 15 and 16 today.
Those cars 15 and 16 were Ray Hall Letterman teammates Buddy Rice and Danica Patrick. They did not run in that race. Ed Carpenter, by the way, is now listed in stable condition. He is described as being awake and alert. As for the race itself, it was won by Dan Weldon. When asked for his comments after the race, Weldon said only this: "Our thoughts and prayers are with the Dana family and all of the Ray Hall Letterman Racing. It is a very, very, very sad day." Paul Dana, dead this morning at the age of 30.
Folks, I've been informed we'll be in a holding pattern for the next hour.
It's time to play Take On Orbitz. Today's players need to alert each of their clients they'll be late for a meeting from midair.
Oh.
Ready? Go. Done. Orbitz notifies anyone you're running late automatically. Introducing Orbitz TLC. You get treated like a VIP only when you book on Orbitz and go.
If only the whole world worked like the all-new Kia Sedona, with memory control seats, DVD player, and 13-speaker Infinity sound system, it truly is state-of-the-art. The completely redesigned Kia Sedona.
Yeah, I have a little attitude, but I've earned it. I've put in the hours. I practice every day. I've learned from the best, and I have no doubt that I can play at the highest level. Right now, I'm guessing I'll end up in either Chicago or New Orleans. Most good jazz musicians do.
There are over 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us are going pro in something other than sports.
This month on Charter. One chick, one chicken dinner. 6 chicks, 6 chicken dinners. 1 is good, 6 is better. Especially for NASCAR Nextel Cup Series racing. Now add not just 1, but 6 channels of in-car coverage, plus data, telemetry, and team audio with NASCAR in-car.
Order using your remote. Charter makes it so easy to do.
The winning tradition continues at Parktown Lanes with Kegler Sports Bar. Check out 2 floors of complete sports entertainment. With 36 Brunswick lanes, we're the bowler's choice for after-work office parties. From the Packers to the Badgers, we've got all the games. Parktown Lanes has a lane open for you right now.
Franklin Lanes, the bowler's choice.
EN2's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship is brought to you by Kia Motors. Kia, the power to surprise. And Powerade.
At the break, top-seeded Duke, thanks to a last shot before the buzzer there, leads Michigan State by 45-37 score. 8-point spread gets you back to the second half of Bridgeport a little earlier. Meanwhile, regional semifinals. Not top-seeded North Carolina, Purdue, and Cleveland. Ivory Latta with a game-tied hits what will be the game winner. Katie Geralds can't answer for the Boilers. What an unbelievable play by Ivory Latta, Kara Lawson.
Well, was there ever any question who was going to take that last shot? Ivory Latta, clutch play. She might have cemented National Player of the Year with that play to win the game for North Carolina.
And good news, it was just a leg cramp. She's okay. So North Carolina moves on to the regional final. Well, they will meet Tennessee. Candace Parker and Tennessee taking on Cappy Pondexter. Cappy, Candace, Pondexter, Parker. That's Cappy. Part of a 15-1 run to take a lead by 7 for Rutgers. But Shauna Zolch in the second half, 6 of 6 from deep, had 29, a career high, and Candace Parker doing the Candace Parker thing.
And Candace Parker also 29 points, but how about 6 blocks to go along with it? Nice defensive performance by the youngster.
No question about it. Tennessee moves on. So here is the Cleveland region. The much-anticipated Cleveland region, top 4 seeds made it through, and North Carolina and Tennessee move on. That game will be Tuesday, regional final on ESPN with a chance to move to the Final Four and head to Boston in the highlights there. Meanwhile, moving on to the men's side, unbelievable finishes and upsets today on the men's tournament. How about George Mason? They go all the way to the Final Four. Questions about whether or not this Colonial team should have even been in the tournament. Oh, they're in it, all right. Taking out top-seeded UConn in the D.C. region. The final there, 86-84. Jai Lewis, 20 points and 7 boards. And number 1, Villanova, also loses as third-seeded Florida goes on to the Final Four, which means for the first time since the field expanded to 64 on the men's side, not a single number 1 seed will be in the Final Four in Indianapolis. Keeping you updated on the NASDAQ 100. Third-round action between Martina Hingis and Svetlana Kuznetsova. Hingis at the bottom of your screen now. The comeback for the former number 1 in the world gets it to go long a little bit, and right now it is tied at 5 in the third set. Lindsey Harding and Duke not tied with Michigan State. They're up by 8. Second half coming up a little bit later.
If only the whole world worked like the all-new Kia Sedona. With world-class comfort, convenience, and safety, it truly is state-of-the-art. The completely redesigned Kia Sedona.
In these shark-infested waters, a team of scientists and one brave volunteer are about to find the answer to an important question. Is Diet Mountain Dew as much of a thrill as regular Dew? results were clear. Diet Mountain Dew is all the dew with none of the calories.
You see a long business trip. At Franklin Templeton, we saw regional air travel rising and invested in a commuter jet manufacturer ready to take off. A smart move for our fund shareholders. Perspective like this has made Templeton a pioneer in global investing. Franklin Templeton Investments. Gain from our perspective. Ask your advisor for a prospectus with investment goals, risks, fees, expenses, and other information to read and consider carefully before investing.
They wear the school colors for a few fleeting years, leave behind moments we'll always remember, and take with them the spirit to excel in all they do. That's why the NCAA corporate family provides scholarships, sponsors youth programs, and supports all 23 NCAA sports. They know that while the excitement of college sports is shown in moments, the value lasts a lifetime.
Well, we are at that time. We've got a couple of regional finals in the Elite Eight heading for your way on Monday. We've got Utah and Maryland, 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. We follow that up with Stanford and LSU. LSU trying to make it to the Final Four for a third straight year. Active winning percentages. Don't forget we got UConn coming up a little bit later on tonight as they take on Georgia in a 2-3 matchup. But you have active winning percentages in the NCAA tournament. The only coaches with a higher active winning percentage than Gail Gestenkors at Duke, Pat Summitt, and Gino Auriemma. This is excellent company. Gail Gestenkors now in her own words on why she coaches at Duke.
Why do I coach? It's because I'm so passionate about the game of basketball.
Take it. Come on, Nish, be ready to shoot.
I have this need to compete, to teach.
We get a trap, we've got to rotate down and play steal, rotate over.
To help young people learn and grow and become the very best. If I was not a coach, I believe I'd be working as a sports psychologist. I love trying to figure out why people do the things they do, what they're thinking, how they're feeling, and how best to motivate them.
Let's go, let's go.
My coaching style, I would say, is extremely intense.
Get in it! Get in it!
I'm very demanding.
I want you guys to run at once because I didn't feel like you did a good job. Let's go.
At the same time, my players know that I care about and love them.
Let's make one another better. On 3 together. 1, 2, 3. Together.
Both of you have said on this set that you feel there's more pressure on Duke than any other team left in the tournament. But how much is it up to Duke, Gail, and how much is it up to the players on Duke to get to the national championship and win it?
Well, I think there's a certain level of responsibility that does fall on the coaching staff, and Coach Gestenkors has said this is her deepest team. There is the one gaping hole in the resume for her, and that's a national championship, Stacey.
I believe at this point, you know, Gail Gestenkors has been there for 14 years. It's up to the players right now to take over and win a championship for her. Monique Curry's been there for 5 years. It's up to her to carry the lead for the other players on her roster.
Well, so far it's working in the regional semifinal against Michigan State. Monique Curry doing exactly that, Stacey Dale Schumann. It is Duke up by 8 at the break. Second half coming up.
Hey, nice Harley.
Yeah. Yeah. Had to get it, you know? It's great. It's the way I live my life, you know, by my own rules. Well, that's my creed or motto. My credo, you know?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like to live like by the edge of my... Can you believe the crime in this town? It's crazy. It's like broad daylight right in front of us. It's like, hello, it's my bike, miss.
Maybe you should get your own.
The air in the average American home is 2 to 5 times more polluted than the air outside.
Romeo, give me my CD.
But now, Trane introduces the first central air system that removes up to 99.98% of the allergens from all the air that it heats or cools. Trane Clean Effects. Isn't it time you expected more from your system? See how it works at Trane.com.
Over the last 100 years, millions of NCAA student athletes have gone pro in something other than sports.
Hi, I'm Matt LePay for Capital Ford Kia, where we have 250 used vehicles, all with Capital Ford Kia's exclusive Tires for Life. Shop our entire used inventory, not just Fords, for Hondas, Toyotas, Nissans, Chevrolets, including SUVs, minivans, 4x4s, convertibles, even hybrids, all with Tires for Life. Go to capfordused.com and call us toll-free 800-640-9646. That's 800-640-9646. Capital Ford.
Save on over 450 used cars and celebrate spring with Z Big One, the biggest used car sale of the season at every Zimbrick location. Shop any Zimbrick for an unbeatable price on a great used vehicle or check out our entire inventory online at Zimbrick.com. Used cars starting at only $29.95. Hurry, sale ends Monday, April 3rd.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship is brought to you by Harley-Davidson Motorcycles. It's time to ride.
At this stage of the tournament, the intensity is never missing. It's 45-37. Duke, the number 1 seed, on top of Michigan State, the number 4 seed, here at halftime. And Duke has done just about everything it possibly could in this first half.
They've worked very hard against this zone that they knew they were going to face. I thought they were exceptional offensively. It helps when you have a skilled point guard. Lindsey Harding gets into the gap of the zone. Wayner stays spread. When Foley and Wayner came on the floor, it was tough. Now watch this on-ball screen right here. Lindsey Harding is going to force this defender to come over and help. And I want you to watch where Abby Wayner stays, okay, Mike? She gets into the gap. Wayner stays in the perfect spot. You force that weak side guard to come over. Uncontested jump shots lead to great percentage. Duke 51% in that first half.
And here are the stats. The bench points, Duke with 21 off the boards. Turnovers, Michigan State has committed 9, and Duke has converted 11 points. And if you're a Michigan State fan, you have to feel lucky to only be down by 8, considering the top 2 scorers in the history of this program have combined for 10 first-half points, and that's it.
I agree. I think their thoughts are cut down on turnovers and get Liz Shimmick some shots. You talked about this. She went 2 for 3 in the first half. How can they get her off offensively? Let's see what they do here.
Jefferson, the freshman, down the lane with a little running jump hook. Here comes Smith on the run back the other way. Bowen waiting for a nice defense by Bowen. Offensive foul. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, I caught up with Duke coach Gail Gessencourse during halftime and asked her what they need to improve here in the second half. She said the keys were defense and rebounding. She really felt like Michigan State was beating them to the loose balls, out-hustling them in the first half. She also said that Michigan State did a great job when they would trap their offensive player, stepping out of that trap and beating it. So Michigan State winning the aggressive points in the first half in Gail Gessencourse's mind.
All right, Holly, thanks very much. Here's Shimmick on the follow, can't hit it. And a foul is Aisha Jefferson. I believe that's Jefferson, went high to get that rebound. Jefferson trying to do it with one arm as she has that left shoulder all wrapped up.
Well, that's a case where Shimmick gets her that shot. She shields the defenders off with her body and is able to be in position for the offensive board. But there is where she loses her footing. And you're right, Mike, she is as good a one-arm player as you'll find in the country, Aisha Jefferson.
Williams off the tip. Smith against Bowen again, and this time Smith wins the battle. First 2 points for her. Bowen back the other way, and you have to credit Lindsey Harding for the great defensive job she has done on the all-conference guard.
She's got really good feet, Harding, so even if Bowen maybe got a half a step, Harding more than made up for that with quickness.
A nice crossover to get in the lane, and she draws a foul. Foul on Victoria Lucas Perry. That'll be her second. And here's what Shimmick and Bowen have done. Not much.
Combined 4 of 11, and this is continuing a theme we saw in the first and second rounds for this Michigan State team. You wonder if these, and Stacy and Kara were talking about the pressure on Duke. You wonder how much pressure seniors feel when they know they're up against it against a quality opponent like Duke, knowing this could be it for them.
And they came in as freshmen together. They've been roommates, very, very close friends. Shimmick is getting married in October. Bowen is going to be a bridesmaid in the wedding. So they're pretty much joined at the hip, and they want to keep this thing going.
This is their 1-4 set. They like a little screen here for Shimmick. Great pressure out.
Bowen lost it on the dribble, and Harding showing the speed. And Duke now with its biggest lead, 51-37.
But Gail Guest-Cours and her staff do such a great job. They are almost over-prepared in terms of a scout. They were ready for that 1-4 set. They wanted to trap immediately.
Bowen penetrates and banks it home. You have to feel a little sorry for Bowen. I mean, she is not a pure point guard.
If I have to make my living off shots like that to win a game by Bowen, although she's capable, that's a tough way to make it.
There is Curry trying to penetrate, and she's called for the charge.
Well, remember what Coach McCauley told Holly Rowe as she went off the floor. We need better defense, and she's picked up 2 charges now. They forced Duke into 2 charges. Gail Guest-Cours a little hot.
In spite of her protest, this has been an outstanding game as far as officiating has been concerned. And the honor of officiating this game has gone to Melissa Brown, Sue Block, and Yvette McKinney. And there is Curry. That's one way to beat the pressure, get ahead of it.
She is so good in transition. This is a young lady, Curry, who's averaging a career-low 27 minutes, only getting 12 shots per game. She has done more with less, Monique Curry.
And Curry with a block there. Misty Williams picks up the loose ball. 17:08 to go in the game. The 12th turnover for the Spartans. Harding for 3 off target. Lucas Perry at 5'9" was in there to get the rebound. Here's Harding on the run. And there's Bales, who has been quiet for a while, but had a great start. Nice pick by Harding. Duke almost had another easy bucket.
Michigan State got a quality shot last trip.
Lucas Perry kicks it back outside. Aisha Jefferson, who is a dead-eye shooter. She's going to be a great player.
I love the athleticism, the energy, and this is a young lady who has shown leadership qualities. Bowen and Shimmick quiet. They want to lead by example. Jefferson will lead with her mouth and her play.
Bales trying to show you some range. She missed on that shot, but she does have the ability to step out. Bowen with a miss, and Bales clears. 4 rebounds for the 6'7" center. But she has intimidated people with her defense. Harding, almost a steal. Monique Curry open for 3. And you just can't leave anybody on this Duke ball club open from the perimeter. They shoot it too well. Second in the country only to Maryland as far as three-point shooting.
And when you've got to guard 4 spots on the floor, Harding can shoot the 3, Curry can. And when Foley and Wayner come in, they can stretch you as well.
And another bobble inside by Jefferson. Bales with the pick. The lead is 15, and Duke is in control. Michigan State does not appear to have an answer right now. Oh, good ball movement to Misty Williams from Bales. When you put her at the high post at 6'7", she just gets a great look down inside.
Far too easy. You have simply got to put better pressure on the basketball. And Monique Curry, who came back for this time of year, and this is where she's improved the most. That long-range dagger, look out when Monique Curry's hot from deep.
Opening night, Indians White Sox, Sunday, April 2nd on ESPN2.
So,
know, John and I are thinking of going to Cancun if we can find a good deal.
It's funny. So are Dan and I.
It's time to play Take On Orbitz. Today's players want a total vacation, hotel plus flight, and must save over $300. Go.
I need a deal to Cancun.
Oh, that's outrageous.
Done. Congratulations. Thanks.
It's that easy.
Save up to $200 on hotel plus flight to Europe, the Caribbean, or Mexico. Only when you book on Orbitz and go.
What if you attached an innovative wing structure to some bicycle machinery and launched it from a sand dune? That works. What if you created a thin piece of plastic that could easily be used just like money anywhere in the world? That works. Suppose we created an IP network so far-reaching and expansive, it could make doing business more efficient around the globe. Suppose we put your global business network in the hands of world-class professionals, people who know it from end to end, people who know how to make it efficient. Verizon has joined with MCI to form Verizon Business, where global capability meets personal accountability to make your business more successful and your life a little easier. That works. Introducing Verizon Business.
Where are we?
Berlin.
No. Where are we after all this?
We've got new facilities, state of the art.
What's he doing?
Everyone's state of the art. Better process. We're streamlined.
Everyone's streamlined. What do we have that nobody else has?
Them.
People with software that connects and empowers them are ready to be your greatest advantage.
Trey Wingo here. Let's update you on the third round action NASDAQ 100 Open. They're in a tiebreak in the third set. Hingis and Kuznetsova puts it in the net, tied at 7 in the tiebreak. Mike and Doris, back to you.
All right, Trey, thanks very much. We have 15:07 to go here at the arena at Harbor Yard in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And Misty Williams, the 6'3" senior from Janesville, Wisconsin, will go to the line. And Duke extends its lead, now 57-41. And Michigan State, really not the kind of ball club that's built for a big comeback. They can ill afford to have this get much bigger.
No, you're right, Michael. We talked about the turnovers. We thought they needed to cut down on that number in this second 20 minutes. They've got to maximize possessions from here on out.
And, of course, Duke is trying to go with full court pressure to speed up the tempo, which is certainly in their advantage as the highest scoring team in the country. A little weave outside. And back in there at the point is Courtney Davidson, the diminutive number 13, who picks up that loose ball. 8 on the shot clock. Harding is out on her, and Davidson, nice spin move to get away from a great defender, but she couldn't hit the shot. Harding quickly back the other way. Poor pass. Harding a little bit out of control on that possession.
That's why you pull up at the free throw line, you hold your dribble at the foul line, Mike, and you let things develop.
Well, Davidson has gotten away with a couple of palms. As long as they'll let you do it. And another good block by Allison Bale. She's just really been intimidating inside. Only 3 blocks officially, but a lot more than that. And then Abby Wayner hits the drive on the baseline and draws the foul on top of it.
When Abby Wayner stops being so hard on herself, she is going to develop into one of the best players in college basketball. She's got all the physical tools. When she struggled earlier in this year, when the ACC started, Mike, it was because she was too tough on herself. This kid plays with great pace, has a great understanding. That change of pace and the blow by, that's pretty stuff. She can shoot it, she can pass it, she can go off the bounce, she can run a team. There isn't anything Abby Wayner can't do. She, like Gail Gestenkors, however, is a little bit too intense. You almost want those two to relax a bit.
But then she had to deal with losing her starting job, which she had won at the beginning of the season. That's not easy either because she was an all-everything player in high school.
Speaks to her ability to bounce back in that face of adversity, Mike.
And Holly Rowe has more. Holly?
Well, Abby Wayner is writing a blog during this NCAA tournament on GoDuke.com, and she had something very interesting to say last week after their second-round games. She said this team has the feel that they're on to the start of something special. She said you can tell it every time they're together in the quiet ways that they support each other and in the confidence. She said that she wants Duke fans to know that they are supremely confident and they have that feeling that this could be a very special Duke year.
Well, Holly, they're certainly playing like it right now. This would be their 29th victory out of 32. Wayner with a great pass, and Shante Black with the layup.
Great defensive play as well. Excellent anticipator.
63 to 41. And Michigan State in an awful lot of trouble. Lucas Perry has the answer there, but that only cuts it to 20.
Lucas Perry into double digits, making plays with that speed of hers.
Poor pass. Late recognition and a blocking foul. Very fortunate. Aisha Jefferson nearly charged as she was late in recognizing a wide open lane to the bucket. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, what Aisha Jefferson's been able to do this year, playing with an injured shoulder, is nothing short of spectacular. She has got a chronically dislocating shoulder. And so you can see the band there around her arm. It's actually the most complicated brace you've ever seen. It's called the Cadlow shoulder support. It crosses in front of her chest and back, and then it has cables that are attached to that are meant to simulate the muscle, how it will attach and keep your arm in place. Look at this gadget. It then attaches to some spandex shorts so it doesn't ride up while she's shooting. And what her coach, Joanne P. McCauley, says, she's a one-armed All-American, so tremendous courage continuing to play despite the shoulder that will need surgery at the end of the season.
Holly, it looks like you have to start putting that thing on yesterday to wear it for a game.
Those bands look like bungee cords, and she's out in front of this pressure, trying to use that athleticism and speed to cause turnovers. Great handle by Harding.
Harding penetrating all the way, dishes it into the corner. Wayner for three. Shante Black nearly had the offensive rebound, but here comes Renee Haynes on the run. Reach in by Wayner, knocked it away, back outside to Davidson. And the long rebound to Michigan State. They'll reset with 12:20 left. They really can't afford any empty possessions from now on if they're going to get back in this game.
They're trying to change the pace, force Duke to turn the basketball over. And this might be an offensive foul.
And it is. And Wayner went down very, very hard. The offensive foul, illegal screen on Laurel Hall. And that's the 16th turnover against Michigan State, something they could not afford playing against Duke. Nice pass, Foley. And she's grabbed by Hall. That's quickly the fourth on the sophomore from one of the great towns in this country, Temperance, Michigan. Let's go to Trey Wingo. Trey?
All right, Mike, we have finished up the third-round match at the NASDAQ 100 Open between Martina Hingis and Svetlana Kuznetsova. Again, it went to a tie-break match point for Kuznetsova, and Hingis will come through with an unforced error here, and Kuznetsova hangs on to win 11-9 in the third set tiebreak.
At the Home Depot, there's never been a better time to give your home a brand new look. Or yourself a brand new toy. Right now, get no payments, no interest for 12 months on all purchases of $2.99 or more when you use your Home Depot consumer credit card.
You may think you're seeing the thrill of sports in high definition, but your picture may be incomplete. You may still be sitting on the sidelines and not in the big HD game. Upgrade your service to ESPN HD, ESPN2 HD, and ABC HD. See everything you thought you were getting when you bought your HD TV. Call your cable or satellite provider and upgrade to ESPN HD, ESPN2 HD, and ABC HD. Telecasts on ESPN HD, ESPN2 HD, and ABC HD are presented by Dish Network.
One size doesn't fit all. That's why Dish Network offers something for everybody. Whether you're a parent wanting good, clean programming for the whole family, or want to experience America's largest high-definition lineup, or want a package of America's best all-digital channels for a great everyday low price. With packages starting at just $19.99 a month, Dish Network has something for you at a price you want to pay. Call today and get Starz Movie Pack free for the first 3 months and find out how you can save $100. Dish Network, more choices for you. Better TV for all.
There's a new Mini in town. Handcrafted with 100% USDA choice ground beef. The Ruby Minis. 4 little masterpieces. 1 big burger taste. Now at Ruby Tuesday.
Calories provide energy, but how much energy do you need? Powerade Option, the low-calorie sports drink.
And there is UConn veteran Barbara Turner, who has already had an outstanding NCAA tournament, and she and the Huskies will take on Georgia. Next, in the second semifinal here, Duke with a comfortable lead extended by Shante Black in the first semifinal against Michigan State. And if Michigan State doesn't mount the same kind of miracle comeback they had against Tennessee last year, then both national championship teams from a season ago will be out of this tournament.
I simply don't think they have enough inside. Duke has been so effective with that high-low. You've got a lot of options to run that high-low with.
Duke has played outstanding defense. And Bowen with the miss. Here's the follow. And there's the offensive player of the game for Michigan State, Aisha Jefferson, the 6-foot freshman from Dayton, Ohio. She has 15 points. Can't ask much more from a freshman in a game like this. And Curry scores baseline left.
Can't trade baskets, but that is the activity that Jefferson has brought. Great energy, live body, a little bit undersized, but somehow finds a way in there.
Right now, Doris, if you look ahead a little bit, Duke is firing on all cylinders, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are. This is a team that's got great depth. You change the pace when you come off the bench. Weiner can get you an up-tempo, but you've got shooters and Foley and Weiner off the bench. Juanisha Smith can go off the bounce from the wing spot. This is a very complete basketball team. Whether or not in a regional final they feel pressure remains to be seen.
And you made the point earlier in the ballgame, and I think Stacy did as well in the studio, that if they get that kind of interior performance from Shante Black, who's coming off the bench, and particularly Allison Bales with their defense, they're going to be tough for anybody to contend with.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is a team that scores the ball, shoots a great percentage, plays defense. Don't forget that national championships are won on the defensive side of the ball. Think about Connecticut and Tennessee when they each won 3 apiece during their particular dominant stretches. They guarded people.
Foley for 3. And the long rebound to Davidson. Knocked away by Williams. Juanisha Smith with a pull-up jump shot.
Those open floor turnovers are the most dangerous because it gives the other team transition opportunities, easy points on the board.
69-46 and time running out on the Spartans. And not a good foul there by Black as she leaned right over a player and committed the personal foul. That's 2 on the sophomore.
Well, Duke has taken advantage of Michigan State's miscues. 23 points off turnovers.
You know, it's funny as a player, that mentality. Sometimes you just do something that's stupid and you know you're doing it while you're doing it, yes. And you go ahead and do it anyway.
Is that for players only, or is that for people?
Oh, no, I believe that's for all of us. But with players, it's out there for you and me and everyone else to see. And Joanne P. McCauley trying to exhort her team to pick up their intensity. They're down by 23 points, only 9:46 to go in the ballgame.
These are teaching moments for Coach McCauley. That's a young freshman who's going to handle the point guard duties. So you, regardless of the score, take an opportunity to teach a young player, especially a point guard who's going to have to run the team, what you want, what to think about the next time she hits that floor.
Lauren H. from Lansing hits the free throw. And Foley goes to the ground trying to maintain possession. And it will be Duke ball out of bounds. Foley will get a breather, and Harding checks back in.
Be interesting to see. We just saw Barbara Turner coming into this Harbor Yard Arena. If she can maintain her level, 18 points, 16 rebounds in round 2. That's about as good as she could play, Mike.
Shimmick gets the rebound. It's been a very quiet night for the all-time leading scorer and rebounder in Michigan State history.
It has not been quiet for Lucas Perry. She and Jefferson have brought great energy and have really been the reason this team has been in it for even stretches.
That's 11 for Lucas Perry. And another great feed inside. Williams scores on the assist from Allison Bales. And Bales has just had a superb all-around game. If they just let her catch that ball at the high post and don't put any pressure on her, she'll stand there and do that all night long.
No question. And they have not put any pressure on that high post passer. Make the pass a tough one.
Looked like H was fouled on that last one, but here's Harding hustling down and getting an easy layup. That's just wanting it more than anybody else.
You get the feeling that Michigan State has almost conceded. I don't sense, outside of Perry and Jefferson, any fight in this Michigan State team, and it's very unusual.
Lucas Perry fouled by Abby Weiner. The second game is Georgia and UConn. The 2 and 3 seeds. This is number 4 against number 1. And number 1 playing like it right now. They're up 22.
Shimmick and Bowen have been about as consistent as you can be. There's the brackets. I think Georgia-Connecticut should be a great matchup, Mike. You've got a quality guard contingent for Georgia. Sherelle Baker leads the country in steals per game. Janice Hardrick comes off the bench. Corey Chambers can flat out light it up. I mean, they are around Tasha Humphrey, a quality post, a quality guard core.
Harding, oh, great ball movement. Harding with the no-look bounce pass. And Abby Weiner with the bucket, 7 assists for Lindsey Harding, the junior.
She looked like Marcus Haynes dribbling through that pressure.
75-53. Duke has an answer for everything Michigan State has tried tonight. Bowen for 3. And this is going to be a reach-in foul on Victoria Lucas Perry, trying to get the offensive rebound. Here is Harding. Great passing, great hustle, and Duke on a roll.
Forget what you think you know about light beers, because they never looked like this or tasted like this. Introducing Michelob Ultra Amber, with a deep amber color and full-flavored taste. The world of light beer just got a little darker. Michelob Ultra Amber, the new look of light beer.
On a good day, I would barely make a splash. Now, I hope for as much impact as possible.
There are over 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us will be going pro in something other than sport.
You want convenience? Get your cable, internet, and phone all from one great company.
Go ahead. Make the call for unlimited local and long-distance service coast to coast. Talk to anyone, anytime, for one low price. Get all your favorite features you expect at no extra charge, plus no new equipment needed. One low price, one great company, one bill.
Make the right call.
Save up to $550 per year when you buy all 3 services together.
Every Wednesday on Bravo, the competition is served.
Who's going down?
Top Chef, the new series from the producers of Project Runway. 12 chefs clash in the kitchen.
I don't accept mediocrity. Get over yourself.
With the fire to be number 1.
You don't belong in the kitchen? Get out.
Woo-hoo. Who will be Top Chef? Every Wednesday at 10/9 Central, only on Bravo. Watch what happens. For exclusive video and blogs, log on now to BravoTV.com.
With 7:42 left to play in this game, Duke up 75-53 over Michigan State. Today in the newspaper, there was one of those famous starter matchups that newspapers like to do where they give the edge to one player or another. Well, Lindsey Harding's edge didn't go to her. It went to Lindsey Bowen from Michigan State. So when someone showed her that newspaper today at the walkthrough, she said, it's all good. I think the feeling that she wanted to come out and prove people wrong, that she would definitely win this edge in the scoring tonight, and I think she's actually done it. So Lindsey Harding taking a little bit of a personal affront to that newspaper article today and coming out here to prove that they were wrong.
And Holly, coaches hate that stuff because no matter what's in there, they can find motivation for somebody in it.
Now, this is a Duke team that, according to Gail Guest, of course, plays better when they are in pursuit of something. There were some who questioned Duke's mental health, shall we say, their confidence level coming into the NCAA tournament. They had dropped 2 of their final 3. Carolina and Maryland, 2 very good basketball teams they were beat by, but nonetheless, people question them. And that, served as motivation for this team. Pile it on in the paper today with Harding being questioned. Go ahead, keep underestimating them.
And look at Bales at 6'7", a 70% free throw shooter. Excuse me, nearly 80% as a free throw shooter.
How about that crossover dribble by Renee Haynes? Pretty stuff.
Michigan has made some very athletic plays tonight, just not enough of them. Wainer and Harding back there together, moving the ball against the press.
Now, Renee Haynes gets along the baseline side. Good save by Shimmick, but watch, Abby Wainer commits high, solid cross to the baseline, little escape from the defender. Nice.
That was pretty. Knocked out of bounds out to Duke. Blue Devils with 5 players in double figures tonight. Great balance. Michigan State's got most of his points out of 2 players. And Bales from outside. And what a weapon she's become offensively. Not only can she get down to the low post, she can hit a 17-foot jumper.
And they told us yesterday at practice, Michigan State, that they would not concede that jump shot. That's a case where the ball's low to start the possession because it came from the wing, and then it goes to Bales. You got to get out and contest that shot. You can't concede it to her.
They have not gotten out on her at anything, and Bales, that could have easily been an offensive foul. She was hooked.
She is very long at 6'7", trying to contest here. Wow, that could have been a hook too. That was a wrap around with the right hand. Good solid block though. Yet another one.
So H, the freshman out of Lansing, Michigan, will go to the line, hits the free throw. She had only shot 15 free throws all year long coming in. That one rims out. Only 6:29 to go in this game. And it's 79-56. Duke on cruise control right now. Nice pass from Wainer inside to Williams. Missed the shot but draws the foul.
There is a really different presence about Abby Wainer in the latter stages of this season. She has looked terrific since the start of the NCAA tournament.
Now she is playing like somebody who was the National Player of the Year a year ago, when early in the season, the first 15, 16 games, she was a lot more tentative than this.
You know, there's something about the way she holds herself. I remember the first Duke practice I went to this year. It was like watching Diana Taurasi in her first practice. You could just tell the way certain players carry themselves, their walk, you know, how they hold their head, maybe a little bit of swagger. You can tell when somebody can play, and Wayner can play.
We were talking yesterday at practice the same thing about Tasha Humphrey. The first time I ever saw her walk on the court, she hadn't touched the basketball yet, and I went, I'd pick her first. Just something about her, and then she got the ball, and I said, that's exactly why I would pick her first. And there's that carriage to an athlete that you can just tell.
And Humphrey, just a sophomore. When you think about the young players in this game across the country, the Kodak All-America team this season, Mike, should be very interesting. You could have a lot of very young players. Courtney Paris, Candace Parker, Crystal Langhorner, flat out lit it up for Maryland. What a terrific player she is. Marissa Coleman, a rookie for Maryland. They are stocked in the underclasses. I'll tell you what, women's basketball is in very good hands for a long time, collegiately.
Duke's best friend right now is the clock, and what a long-range shot that was by Wayner. There's the follow. It qualifies almost as an assist. And she's got a smile on her face because she missed it so badly.
She'll take a little ribbing for that at the hotel.
She'll tell them it was a pass. Tough night for the Michigan State veterans who wanted to extend their season and have another run the way they did last year. Curry on the run, pull up 17-footer. And we have a player down for Michigan State. That's Renee Haynes, slow to get up at the other end of the court. And she will walk to the Michigan State bench, and Joanne P. McCauley there to meet her. Got whacked right in the forehead, it appears.
Well, you might have 5 minutes and 20 seconds left, and two players who have really helped elevate this Michigan State program. I mean, Liz Shimmick and Lindsey Bowen have been two foundation-type players.
Well, you would have liked to see what Bowen could have done had there been somebody who could play 35 minutes at the point, and she could be exclusively a shooting guard the way she was a year ago, although she did play a little bit of point, but that was not her primary job. And certainly that's a big assignment to take, and you have to sacrifice a lot to switch positions.
Yeah, this team, I think, suffered for it. Now, Davidson maybe got some more experience early. You wonder if she might have been able to take over, but tough way to go if you're seniors.
There's Shimmick with a rebound. Oh, when you played, did you have to play out of position at times, or most of the time did they allow you to play the point where you were at your best?
Yeah, I played the point consistently, and there's a real comfort in that. And let me just say this, point guard play is crucial. How about the coaching jobs by two Providence grads, Jimmy Larinaga and Billy Donovan, great guards for Providence College in the Final Four. If Stacy can talk about the Canadians, I'm talking about the Friars.
And Larinaga did one of the great things, the essence of coaching, I think, of doing things the right way when he benched his starting point guard, as we talk about point guard play, for an incident in the conference tournament, benched him for the first game of the NCAA. I mean, what courage it took for Jim Larinaga to do that when we know there's a lot of other people out there who would have said, well, we'll suspend him for an exhibition game next year.
Agree, but you know what that does? That sends a very clear message to the rest of that team that no one is more important than the program, and there's maybe not a more unifying thing you can do as a head coach than set the same rules and keep a certain standard. So
yeah,
hats off to Coach Larinaga.
I love it. 4:04 and counting, and Duke is easily going to move into the regional final. They will go to 29-3, only one victory away from 6 straight years with 30 or more, a remarkable record for Gail Gestencourt. Harding tipped out of bounds with 7 on the shot clock. The only thing missing on her resume, a national championship. You wouldn't want to rule that out this year. Certainly not yet.
Folks, I've been informed we'll be in a holding pattern for the next hour.
It's time to play Take On Orbits.
Today's players need to alert each of their clients they'll be late for a meeting from midair.
Oh.
Ready? Go. Done. Orbitz notifies anyone you're running late automatically.
Introducing Orbitz TLC. You get treated like a VIP only when you book on Orbitz and go.
Think you know all there is to know about getting your cholesterol right? You may be wrong, because getting bad cholesterol down might be just part of the equation. You may also want to get your good cholesterol up. Even more surprising, this cholesterol medicine does both. Crestor. Crestor, along with diet, can lower bad cholesterol by up to 52%. But Crestor also raises your good cholesterol. Down with the bad, up with the good. Is Crestor right for you? That's between you and your doctor. Crestor is not for everyone, including people with liver disease and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor about other medications you're taking, or if you experience muscle pain or weakness, as they may be a sign of serious side effects. Down with the bad, up with the good. Talk to your doctor about Crestor.
If you're without prescription coverage and can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship is presented by Orbitz.com. It's that easy. Orbitz and go.
You would smile, too, if you were up by 27 with 3:42 in the ball game. Duke on its way to the regional title game on Tuesday night against the winner of our second game, Georgia and UConn. The Blue Devils have played almost flawlessly, and what a mistake to leave Laura Kurz wide open on the inbounds.
Now, Kurz might be in a lot of other programs a starter, and yet she's getting limited minutes for this talented and deep Duke team.
She was recruited as a guard, but there's so many outstanding guards on this team, they asked her to move inside. Now Emily Weiner, number 2. Abby Weiner's older sister, a transfer, has come into the ball game as Gail Gestencourt getting very deep into her bench. This is Foley. That one's picked off. Shimmick on the run. Gets to her friend Bowen. And Bowen for 3, top of the circle and short. Her shot has been off tonight, and that's really hurt Michigan State.
Yeah, she never found her rhythm. Duke at times trapping early. She was never able to get comfortable. She or Shimmick.
Black with a follow off Weiner's miss. Michigan State has seemed to step slow tonight. Whether it's them or Duke was just that quick and that good, I don't know. But you can tell the difference.
Well, I think what you saw tonight, the players who were effective for Michigan State were the better athletes on this team. Lucas Perry had her moments. Jefferson had her moments. They had the speed to be active and effective against Duke, where some of the other players did not.
Foley too strong on her 3. Two minutes to go. Shimmick with the left hand does not get the roll, and another rebound is Shante Black.
At some point, you wonder if they take Bowen and Shimmick out and get them one final hand. There's a limited contingent from Michigan State, but they deserve a final round of applause.
Perfect idea, Doris, and you're right. 3-second violation. Going to turn it over, and this might be it. Shimmick and Bowen, 2 of the great players in the history of Big Ten basketball, and arguably the best 2 players at Michigan State ever, come out together, and the great 4-year run they have had is over.
They'll finish 1-2 in scoring. They'll finish the best of friends, a lifetime of memories, a national championship game appearance. Consistency. When you think of Shimmick and Bowen, you will think consistent ethic, consistent work ethic.
And without them, they would not have made that national championship run a year ago. 1:18 to go, 86-59. Duke on top of Michigan State. The Spartans will finish this season at 24-10. Duke not done yet. They will go to 29-3. Oh, nice pass on a backdoor cut and the layup by Lucas Perry. She has 17 points. She and Jefferson have been the offensive stars for Michigan State.
You know, that's a connection you'll see once or twice next season. Davidson to Lucas Perry.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see him back here again. Try to get it inside to Black. Shimmick, 17-80. Bowen, who held the scoring record at one point until Shimmick passed her. They finished 1-2 in the history of Michigan State basketball. I've never seen the top two scorers on one club at the same time.
You wonder how many assists Bowen had on that 1,700-plus points.
28 seconds to go in the ball game. Michigan State with the possession. The shot clock is off. Duke has cleared its bench. It's a tie-up. Possession arrow will give it back to the Spartans. And Duke, with an outstanding performance in just about every area of the ball game, will advance to the championship game on Tuesday night. Black tips it. Weiner picks it up. Only 10 seconds to go. And the Blue Devils will go to the championship game of the Bridgeport, Connecticut Regional on Tuesday night. It's an outstanding performance, Doris.
Well, it really is. There's a different feel about this Duke team. And the reason I say that, when Elena Baird failed to make a Final Four as a senior, they were trying to win it so badly for her. Less of a sense of that with Monique Curry. It's a more well-rounded basketball team, much better balance. Whether that helps them Tuesday night or not, Mike, we'll see.
And certainly deeper than any Duke team I can remember seeing.
There's no question about that. Quality depth, too. That's the difference.
Michigan State will go out with a disappointing loss. Let's check in with Holly.
We're with Lindsey Harding. And Lindsey, we talked about the balance of this team early on, but 6 players in double figures tonight. How was that accomplished?
Oh, wow. Everyone just attacked, you know, and that's what we need. And some of the best teams that I've ever seen have a 5, 6, 7 person attack, and that's what we're going to need to win.
You came out and set a tone defensively early on. How were you able to do that and really limit Michigan State's stars?
We wanted to pressure them a lot. A lot of film that we've seen, they weren't pressured extremely hard as we do. So we wanted to pressure them into some turnovers and make them do certain things that they don't do.
All right, and Gail Gessencourt standing by here. Coach, you said they needed to rebound and play better defense in the second half. Was that accomplished?
Well, I don't know. The rebounding, probably not. But we got the big ones when we needed them. I thought our defense was much, much better in the second half.
What does it mean to you to blow out a team like Michigan State's caliber? How does that tell you your team is pushing forward to the Final Four?
Well, our goal is just to continue to gain momentum with every game and get better. And this was a great challenge for us. Michigan State's an excellent team. They have a proud tradition. So I was really proud of the kids. They came out really focused and ready to play.
All right, thanks, Coach. We'll see you in the next round.
All right, thank you, Holly. And hard to imagine that Duke could play much better against a team as good as Michigan State. The final 86-81. Duke awaits the winner of the third-seeded Georgia Lady Bulldogs and number 2 Connecticut. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports and the exclusive home of the Women's NCAA Championship. For Doris Burke, Holly Rowe, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Now let's send it back to Trey Wingo.
All right, Mike, Doris, thanks very much. Welcome into our studios. Trey Wingo here with Kara Lawson, Stacey Dale Schumann. Lots of basketball to get to, both on the men's and women's side, and we will do that in just a little minute. But first, some very sad news out of Florida this morning. It was supposed to be the greatest day of Paul Dana's professional life. Instead, it ended up being his last. The 30-year-old rookie driver passed away in a pre-race crash this morning on the IRL practice session. This is what happened. At about 10:03 a.m., Ed Carpenter hits the wall and then continues down the track. Several cars able to get out of his way. Paul Dana not as fortunate. The 30-year-old from St. Louis, Missouri hits him at roughly 176 miles an hour. 2 hours after the crash, the terrible news. Paul Dana was gone.
Final pre-race practice, we had an accident in turn 2 involving the number 20 car driven by Ed Carpenter and the number 17 car driven by Paul Dana. That occurred approximately 10:03 this morning, shortly after the beginning of the practice. Both drivers were removed from their cars and flown to Jackson Memorial Hospital, where shortly before noon, Paul Dana was pronounced dead from the injuries he suffered in the accident. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers are with the Paul Dana family and everyone associated with the Rahal Letterman race team.
Well, obviously, this is a very black day for us. And on behalf of all of our team, David, our sponsors and associates, our prayers and sympathies certainly go out to Paul, his wife Tanya, and the whole Dana family. This is a great tragedy. As a result, and in honor of him, we will not be competing with cars 15 and 16 today.
Those cars 15 and 16 were Paul Dana's teammates on the Rahal Letterman racing team, Danica Patrick and Buddy Rice. They did run the Toyota 300 at the Homestead Racetrack, and this afternoon it was won by Dan Weldon. When asked about the accident after the race, Dan Weldon said simply, "It's a very, very sad day. Our thoughts and prayers are with the Dana family and all of Rahal Letterman Racing." Paul Dana, dead at the age of 30.
You can get it on eBay.
At the Home Depot, there's never been a better time to give your home a brand new look. Or yourself a brand new toy. Right now, get no payments, no interest for 12 months on all purchases of $2.99 or more when you use your Home Depot consumer credit card.
Successful investing. At T. Rowe Price, it's about more than just hitting home runs. It's about a consistent, steady approach, year after year. For each 1, 5, and 10-year period, 70% of our mutual funds beat their Lipper average. Low-cost mutual funds from T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Request a complete prospectus or profile with investment objectives, risks, fees, expenses, and other information to read and consider carefully before investing.
Check it out. I got the NCAA March Madness, baby.
You don't have March Madness.
What? Look at me.
Can you follow your favorite teams with just 2 clicks of a button?
No.
Is your bracket with you at all times and constantly updated?
Oh.
Then you don't have March Madness. You have March Sadness.
Well, check this out. Singular Media Net. Latest scores, breaking news, bracket challenge. If you've got Singular, you can personalize your phone for college hoops.
You want to see what else I painted? No.
Singular, raising the bar.
We continue here in our studio show. Trey Wingo here with Carol Lawson, Stacey Dales Schumann. In between games in the Bridgeport region. Coming up in just a little bit, it'll be second-seeded UConn taking on Georgia. Meanwhile, earlier today, the Cleveland region. We found out who the 2 teams would be in the regional final. North Carolina and Ivory Latta, #1 seed, taking on 4th-seeded Purdue. Second half, nip and tuck. Ivory Latta does. Give me that! Comes up with the steal.
Check 4 of them.
Absolutely. UNC up by 4. Symmetry, sometimes it all works. Later in the half, Purdue down by 5. Aya Traore. Give me a Traore. That's 3. Purdue down just 2.
Aya Traore, one of the most improved players in the land, but the boards. Purdue did a fantastic job. Actually out-rebounded this team by 2 on the boards. Very unexpected.
UNC then, Latangela Atkinson with the drive and the finish. UNC goes up 4. Purdue now down 2, and it's Traore one more time. Getting loose and hits the J. Tied it at 68, so it's a tie game. Last chance for UNC to win. Latta takes charge.
That's why, Trey, I think she might be the best player in the country.
Well, she was unbelievable in that situation, but Katie Gerald's had a look at it to go, and it couldn't get the late buzzer beater to go for Purdue. Latta coming up in pain. She later said it was just a leg cramp. Carried off the court, carried her team into the Elite Eight. The final there, 70-68. Erlana Larkins, 23 points, 7 rebounds. Latta, 19, 8 assists, and the 4 steals that you mentioned. North Carolina moves on.
I thought they played a really good game. We're just, again, happy that to have survived that game, and hopefully we'll play better on Tuesday night. But proud of these young ladies right here beside of me. They played hard, and you know, we did what we needed to down the stretch. You know, and of course Ivory took it in there at the end and scored for us, and that's what she's supposed to do as our point guard. You know, so it was a great game, and like I said, we're just happy to be playing again on Tuesday.
I was expecting Ivory to go all the way to the basket, but at the same time, I was looking up and ready to get the rebound in case she missed. So I was kind of in position as she took it to the basket, and when it went in, I was excited.
Good call. Meanwhile, Rutgers and Tennessee, Candace Parker, Cappie Pondexter, 2-3 matchup, the early game in the Cleveland region. And Cappie and Rutgers got off to a great start. This part of a 15-1 run to take a lead by 7. But then Candace Parker got going, Kara.
Well, she really did. And Tennessee exploited that mismatch that they had. The smaller Rutgers players trying to check her, whether it was Essence Carson or any Rutgers post player, they couldn't handle Candace Parker on the block.
You can't guard me. They were up by 2 at the break. And then second half, more of Candace working it. Ball's up 42-33, and then Shauna Zolman put on a shooting plan.
Well, she got loose a couple times, hit 5 threes, but Candace Parker made the difference. 6 blocks in the game. They had trouble defending her, as, again, they had trouble defending Shauna Zolman.
Shauna, 29 points. She didn't miss in the second half, 6 of 6, a new career high for her. And then, oh, Candace, just throw it up soft off the glass. You had 29 as well. And Pat Summit and Tennessee move on. The final there, 76-69. Parker and Zolman combined for all but 18 of Tennessee's points. 5 3-pointers, as Stacy pointed out. And why is that 76 number important? That's the most points in a single game Rutgers has allowed in their last 75, dating back to February 24th of 2004.
Well, I think our defensive scheme on Cappie, you know, I thought it was important to make her work for all of her touches. And I'd say 80% of the time we did that. We obviously broke down at times, but we knew that she would be a big play person for them. Ajivon, same thing. Mattia is a great person a great player to come to the ball, and I really thought we probably gave her more open looks, and we didn't adjust as well with her throughout the game as we did with Cappie.
It's hard, you know, especially work so hard to come back and be disappointed. But I guess I hope that I taught Mattia Ajivon a lot going into next year, and she can move on and help the team and all that they want to do, and I just got to move on with my life.
Well, you will see Cappie at the next level of the WNBA. As for the bracket that was so much talked about since Selection Monday, this is what C. Vivian Stringer had to say. The selection and the brackets have been a joke. I would have said something earlier, but I was afraid they'd send me to the regional in Alaska, and they don't even have one there. Classic C. Vivian Stringer right there, but she does have a point, and there are going to be some people, and especially, as you said earlier, Kara, whoever loses this Tennessee-Carolina region that's going to say, hey, that was really just to get to the Final Four?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what's been so disappointing for a lot of these coaches, I mean, and you look at the way that Purdue played as a 4 seed in this region as well to go up against Carolina, is you look at these 4 teams and they are playing some of the best basketball, not just in their region, but of any team in the tournament. And if you look at the way they're playing right now, it's really hard to imagine that they've been clumped into the same bracket and only one of them is going to survive and make it to Boston.
And Karen Trey, it's especially disappointing for Coach Stringer because she has 5 seniors on this roster. She's like a motherly influence to these players. That's the type of person she is, both on and off the court, as tough as she is on them. So this is very devastating loss for them. And for a team that won the Big East regular season title, undefeated, I think that's really tough to deal with. And she, in her press conference after the game, talked about the love of her players and then made that comment. So I think it's more an emotionally based comment. You can see the quote there, but she's certainly feeling for her players right now.
Well, no question, especially for Cappy Pondexter, a player who came back and could have gone on to the WNBA, came back for one more year at school. How much do you think the selection committee will take a look at what happened in Cleveland this year, as well as, let's be honest, Ohio State not even making it to the Sweet 16 as a #1 seed, and use this as a formula to make sure they are perhaps a little more accurate in the seedings next time around?
Yeah, well, you know, it's very hard to say the selection committee will take a look at it because, as they said, the buzzwords throughout when we talked to them was their principles and procedures. And so they think that they were following the guidelines that were written in front of them. I think the movement is going to have to come from the coaches who are the coaches that vote on, you know, the rules and how selection should be made and how seeding should be done. That's where the change is going to have to, a group of coaches getting together and deciding that there needs to be change so something like this does not happen again.
Well, certainly, and as I've talked with some coaches, they certainly are clearly adamant about making some changes, and that'll happen over the course of the summer. That's why we have an off season. That's why players have an off season to get better. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes good decisions, whatever you believe.
We'll see what happens now. Again, we are in between games at the Bridgeport region. Duke has moved on, taking out Michigan State. Coming up in just a little bit, second-seeded UConn with a little bit of home cooking will take on Georgia, the third-seeded Bulldog squad. Just a few moments ago, UConn's head coach Gino Auriemma caught up with our Holly Rowe.
Coach Auriemma, you got a Georgia team coming up that's known for their guard play. How do you combat that tonight?
Well, they're known for their guard play, but the big kid inside is pretty good too. You know, I mean, I think they're obviously a very dangerous team to contend with because it's not just about, you know, contain their guards and then they dump it inside Tasha Humphrey. So I think we've got a tough assignment. You know, we've got to guard them inside and outside, and I think we've got to pick our spots and when we do which.
You've got two young freshman point guards. How do you see them as far as composure goes against a very smothering defensive team?
Well, there's really not much you can do about it. You just got to throw them out there and hope for the best. I think it's going to come down to if they get a comfort level, you know, if they can have some success early in the game, I think they'll feel pretty good as the game wears on. But they may need some help from our seniors, and they may need some help from the bench, too.
You've got those four outstanding seniors. What do you sense their level of focus and want to is right now?
Well, I've never seen Barbara and Ann more focused, and I think the two of them are going to be the keys to anything that we do in the postseason. And right now, the two of them are playing about as well as they're capable of playing. So if everybody else does their part, then that's all we can ask for.
All right, thanks very much, Coach Gino Auriemma. Coming up with Georgia and UConn after this.
All right, Holly, Coach, thanks very much. Boy, you take a look at Gino, and this just in, he's pretty good since 1994. 53-7, Sweet 16s 13, Elite 8s 10, Final Fours 7. Oh, by the way, 5 national titles. What is it about the program and Gino Auriemma that makes him so spectacular right now in the last 12 years in the tournament?
Well, I think to me it's the way he primes his teams and gets them prepared for March. And I'm anxious to see, as you take a look at this game in particular, how he deals with star players, to me, on the opposition, how he makes them uncomfortable for the entire game and really gears his kids toward playing their best basketball in March. But he has a unique ability as a coach to take opposing teams' best players and have them just play terrible because of the game plans that he gets his kids to follow.
Well, Oklahoma's a very good team, and they played earlier this year, and they did a very good job with Courtney Paris despite great numbers from her. I think if you look at this game, and he mentioned Tasha Humphrey, they'll do a solid job defensively with her because that's what UConn does, and I think that's the deceiving thing about this Connecticut team. They always play defense. And oftentimes that gets overlooked because they're so adept on the offensive end in transition and with the motion style and great set action. And I really expect Barb Turner to be a difference maker in this game. She has a swagger about her that she needs to send out to the rest of her teammates.
And it certainly doesn't hurt that they're playing in Bridgeport in the state of Connecticut. They have won 28 straight tournament games in the state of Connecticut. In fact, he's won 22 of his last 23 tourney games. Last year's Sweet 16 loss, the only one that's been on the downside of the ledger in that break. There's Barbara. She got that swagger right now.
She has it.
She's giving you the nod. 9:21 Eastern, UConn and Georgia coming up in just a little bit.
Give me the dew. A hand. You wish. I hope it's all fizzy. We're good.
Hi, sweetie. Hi. So you spend what, $8 for takeout from a casual dining place?
Mom, it's a $4 meal from KFC. Half the price.
So if you're saving so much money, how come you haven't moved out yet?
Get all the quality of a casual dining meal for half the price. Choose between a strip meal, a two-piece meal, or a breast meal, each with 2 delicious home-style sides and a freshly baked biscuit for just $4. Your dollar goes further at KFC.
The Acura MDX. Connect to the modern world or escape from it.
Check it out. I got the NCAA March Madness, baby.
You don't have March Madness.
What? Look at me.
Can you follow your favorite teams with just 2 clicks of a button?
No.
Is your bracket with you at all times and constantly updated?
Oh.
Then you don't have March Madness. You have March Sadness.
Well, check this out. Singular Media Net. Latest scores, breaking news, bracket challenge. If you've got Singular, you can personalize your phone for college hoops. You want to see what else I painted?
No.
Singular, raising the bar.
Checking in on the men's tournament, unbelievable. George Mason from the Colonial League. The Patriots, vilified on Selection Sunday, are going to the Final Four. They knock out top-seeded UConn in the D.C. region, 86-84. In doing so, they knock out the last 2 champions of the NCAA, UConn who won in 2004 and North Carolina who won in 2005. Unbelievable run for the George Mason Patriots. Jim Calhoun of UConn denied a chance at a 3rd Final Four.
In life, as I told the kids, it doesn't always go the way you planned. They don't measure heart by inches. They don't measure courage. They don't measure basketball instinct and intelligence. The game is a beautiful game because you can win in so many different ways.